No arrests have been made in last night's murder. We asked police about a suspect, but they couldn't share any additional information yet. And that's not the first time there was a shooting at that Urbana intersection. 2 years ago, a teenager was shot and killed in the same area. Police say they know there is still work that needs to be done. Now, after only 3 years of working out of this building in Danville, the Habitat for Humanity says they're devastated by a fire at their restore tonight. Executive Director Jonathan Gibson says the building was locked up and closed for the night when he got the emergency notification, so he believes no one was inside when the fire broke out. From the outside, he could tell their box truck was lost to the flames, and that alone will cost about $20,000 to replace. He says they'll be back in the morning to assess the extent of the damage, and we'll bring you more details on that tonight at 10. After a big win for Democrats on election night, they're looking ahead to the November and January legislative sessions. The SAFETY Act is at the top of mind for lawmakers. But there are other issues Governor Pritzker says the General Assembly will focus on. WCIA 3's Theodora Kuvalaris has that story.
Election Day proved to be a strong one for Democrats as Governor Pritzker prepares for his second term and Democrats keep their supermajorities in both chambers. With the November legislative session just around the corner, they now turn their attention to key issues: gun control and abortion rights.
We are going to work on passing an assault weapon ban and making sure that we are protecting women's reproductive rights by expanding capacity and in making the investments that are necessary here in our state to protect women.
During his first term, Pritzker managed to get laws passed on expanding background checks on gun sales and banning ghost guns. But he has failed to get a ban on assault weapons through the General Assembly, despite having those supermajorities.
But that is not the same thing as a gun safety majority.
Gun control advocates say seeing Democrats sweep the ticket shows gun control is top of mind for voters, especially young ones.
They have grown up being afraid for their lives, of afraid of going to school and to parks and to public venues. And now that they are voting age and they're old enough to run for office, they're doing it because they're sick and tired of living in this kind of society.
On abortion, Pritzker signed the Illinois Reproductive Health Act, protecting access in the state, and repealed parental notification. Now, abortion rights advocates say they want to see clarification in state law on who can provide abortions.
When there is action taken against them in another state, that in Illinois, if they're going ahead and doing things that are perfectly legal in our state, that their licenses to practice here for doctors and nurses are protected.
Democrat Doris Turner and Republican Sandy Hamilton together raised more than $5 million in the race for state Senate. Turner raised about $4 million of that. Turner said she spent that amount of money to help get her message out to voters. The race between the two candidates was also a close one. Only about 1,300 votes gave Turner that edge. Turner said she knew this was going to be a competitive race and that they traveled throughout the district to meet with voters.
We talked a lot about what we had done in this district, talked about what we were going to do and how we were going to work together with our federal partners and our state partners and local partners in order to move the district forward.
While the race was close, it also featured a number of attack ads. Both candidates put out ads accusing one another of lying. Hamilton's campaign ads focused on questioning Turner's ethics and tried to connect her to a criminal ghost payroll scheme her husband was indicted for. A group in Danville is trying to raise awareness for people without homes in the city, especially those who are veterans. They're doing that by asking you to sleep outside on Veterans Day. Tomorrow evening, the Step Recovery Center is hosting the Sleep Out for the Homeless event. Registration starts at 5 p.m. Cardboard boxes will be provided. Organizers say it's important to come out and donate for people in need.
The purpose is to raise awareness about our homelessness, mainly the veterans. We got a big problem in Danville. We need to reach out and do more for them. You know, we got a lot of people that's sleeping under bridges and abandoned houses. I mean, it's terrible. It's all over the place.
You can also donate blankets and winter clothes. Proceeds will go to support the Midwest Veterans Association. Tropical storm Nicole made landfall in Florida. Why the storm is unusual for this month. And last week, it was a mass layoff at Twitter. This week, it's Meta. How many people have been laid off from their jobs. But first, Jacob Dickey joins us. Jacob, the weather was nice today, but it's going to start getting colder soon. Tell us about that.
I got to know your opinions because I'm not very popular amongst the news side of the room with the forecast we've got. Cold or no? You a fan?
Can't say that I am. I'm from Chicago, so it
Well,
gets brutal.
This weekend, you're not going to like me. 38 for a high on Saturday, 39 on Sunday. Cold weather is here, and it is here to stay. We'll talk about that forecast with the chance for even some wintry mix. Those details right after this.
Now, Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Jacob Dickey.
There's a look outside right now in Gibson City, keeping an eye to the north and west as that cold front approaches. Not here yet. You'll know it's coming by the wind direction. That wind will be out of the south until the front arrives. Then it turns to the north and west late tonight, probably for many of us. I think it's after midnight through about 6 a.m. or so. Temperatures will fall as normal during the overnight hours, but they'll continue to fall after the front comes on through. Now, 45 is our low for tonight. We might get a stray shower towards Jacksonville, Springfield. For the most part, though, I don't think that's going to be the case. Look at tomorrow. The high is 46 here. We're thinking that the temperatures are warmest in the morning, and warm, not really a relative term here because it's going to be cold tomorrow, but it gets even colder the later we go through the day, both with temperature and with the wind chill. You see this right here. You see in the morning, we're really holding steady. Where we end up tomorrow morning, 7, 8 in the morning, that'll be our high temperature for the day, and then they'll hold steady and start to fall into the afternoon. Look at those wind chill values. We get into the afternoon into the 30s by tomorrow evening after sunset, into the 20s. Now, today's high was 73. Saturday morning, those wind chills end up in the teens, 19. Some spots may be close to 15 or 14 here. That's a 50 to 60 degree change from today's high to the wind chill values Saturday morning. Big time drop here as this strong cold front arrives, and that sets the weekend up looking much more winter-like. Some patchy flurries possible on Saturday. Sunday looking dry here. Let's talk about those snow and flurry chances. We dusted this graphic off, cleaned it up, made it ready for an early start here. This is a snow chance. No accumulation expected, but early Saturday morning could see some flakes fly before many of us are up along I-70. And then during the day Saturday morning into the afternoon, we'll see a band of clouds come on through, and there will be some flurries isolated to scattered in nature underneath those here across the area. You can see that band of cloud cover Saturday morning building on in. A couple little pockets of blue there. That's what we'll have to watch here as we go throughout the day for chances of flurries. It's out of here, though, by Saturday evening. Here comes the cold front. Not much to work with moisture-wise over the next couple of days here. We think, though, that changes as we get into next week. Bit of an ominous sign, and ominous may not be the right word here, but a signal that catches our attention here. Area of low pressure heading in our direction. The setup is there to where we've got cold air on the back side of this here. It can pull some moisture in from the Gulf. This is a setup that we like to see for the potential for wintry mix and snow, and it may very well come to fruition by Monday night into Tuesday, and that may be the first of a couple of chances next week here. What can we do about it? Not much. We're going to keep watching, though, with the pattern. Of course, some questions. Where's that low exactly going? What's the path of it here? But there may be some more chances beyond that even. The 8 to 14-day outlook showing below normal temperatures are staying with us. Here's that 7-day forecast. I'm going to have to change that rain to some snow, aren't I? Flurries here for Saturday. We've got wintry mix on Tuesday. We might get another chance towards the end of the week. Those temperatures, 30s and 40s for highs, lows into the 20s here. I'm about to say something controversial. I don't think it's unreasonable that next week some parts of central Illinois might get their first accumulating snow of the year. May not be much, but that certainly is on the table given the pattern we've got coming this way.
Are you ready for that?
No. I am not wanting anything. I want to be able to go home in time, but if there's any active weather or impactful weather, which at this point we don't think there will be, but if there is, we'll be here. Full team coverage. Keep you updated.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jacob. Now we'll have a look at your national news next. Tropical storm Nicole made landfall in Florida this morning as a hurricane. It slammed beachfront communities still damaged from Hurricane Ian last month. In Daytona Beach, emergency crews evacuated condos in danger of collapsing. The storm is an unusual November event, the third recorded hurricane to hit Florida this late in the year. Russia says it is pulling out of a key region in southern Ukraine. The military says it's withdrawing from Kherson for now. Kherson remains under Russian occupation. It's another flood of layoffs in the tech world. Meta, parent company of Facebook, sent emails to 11,000 employees Wednesday, telling them they no longer have jobs. Workers heard a personal apology from CEO Mark Zuckerberg. When we return, RSV, flu, and COVID-19 cases are rising. How experts are tackling an amoxicillin shortage.
The news continues here on WCIA 3, your local news leader.
A common antibiotic is in short supply at a time of year when many children need it. Experts say the shortage of amoxicillin is concerning given the unusually high amounts of respiratory viruses spreading right now. Dr. Malika Marshall has more.
As cases of RSV, the flu, and COVID are increasing, so are concerns about treating secondary bacterial infections children can develop that require antibiotics.
Amoxicillin is related to penicillin. It's one of the most commonly used antibiotics, particularly in children, and it can be used for conditions like sore throat or ear infections.
The FDA recently added amoxicillin oral powder to the drug shortages list, citing increased demand. Pharmacists use the powder to make the liquid type of the medication that's easier for kids to take.
To have a shortage on something like that's pretty shocking.
Pharmacy owner Clarence Sullivan says parents can call around to see what pharmacies have the drug in stock.
We don't have certain medications like amoxicillin even available to us, so it's a search and find for patients at this point.
If you're not able to track down amoxicillin at one of your local pharmacies, is to ask your pediatrician or doctor to prescribe an alternative.
CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder also says not all infections need antibiotics.
Only bacterial infections will respond to an antibiotic. Unnecessary exposure to antibiotics breeds resistance to those antibiotics, and particularly when we're in the situation of a shortage, we should use those antibiotics carefully.
The FDA says it's working with approved manufacturers to help prevent drug shortages. Dr. Malika Marshall, CBS News, Boston.
Adidas cut ties with Kanye West last month, but why the sportswear company still plans to sell Yeezy products next year. And this Thanksgiving will be an expensive one. What's driving up the price of a turkey?
This is WCIA 3 News, your local news leader.
A new report shows overall consumer prices are rising at the slowest rate since January. But food prices remain high, which means this year's Thanksgiving feast will be expensive. An avian flu outbreak has killed millions of turkeys nationwide, leading to lower supplies. The latest numbers show turkey costs almost 17% more than a year ago. Adidas says it plans to sell more Yeezy products next year, but under a different name. The German sportswear company cut ties with rapper Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, last month over his controversial anti-Semitic comments. Ye owns the trademark for the name Yeezy, but Adidas says it owns the designs. The company projected it would lose close to $250 million in revenue this year, following the split from the Grammy Award winner. Jacob will have a final check of the weather after this.
There's a look at your 7-day forecast. You can see that the cold weather moves on in and locks down here. Got a chance for some wintry mix possible next week. We're going to keep a close eye on that.
Well, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you on WCIA 3 News at 10.
Have a good night.